Hello to all of my fragrance-loving friends out there. If you've never seen my face before, I'm Olivia. I am a perfume enthusiast, as you see behind me, and today we're getting rid of some perfumes. I just reorganized my collection. If you want to watch that, you can go onto my TikTok, and I give a little breakdown explanation of how I went about that. And in that process, I wanted to get rid of some fragrances because my collection has gotten absolutely out of control. So I will have my MERCARI linked down below. So if any of these seem interesting to you, you can pick them up there. If you're a new friend, consider subscribing if you love fragrance. And if you are a returning friend, hi friends! I'm very excited because I love a little good trash talk. Now I won't be trashing these too hard because I don't like to yuck other people's yum, but I will give a thorough explanation as to my reasoning behind why the scents are not necessarily jiving with me these days. So without further ado, let's get into the declutter. Starting off strong, this is Her by Zadig and Voltaire. Now this is so hyped online. This is a creamy sandalwood with whipped cream, jasmine. It's got some pink pepper, but to me, I am very sensitive to pink pepper. And when I got this was not as creamy as I hoped. That pink pepper gives a really sharp element. I'm also very sensitive to jasmine, so although this is so hyped online, I cannot really see myself wearing it. Now I will say that this is a powerhouse fragrance, and this is a creamy sandalwood. It's not a dry, pickly sandalwood, as some can lean. This, to me, is a very beautiful fragrance, but if you're sensitive to pink pepper and jasmine, you're probably like me, where this is just a little bit too suffocating. But this is a very well-liked fragrance, so I'm sure some of you absolutely adore this, so she's going bye-bye for now. Next is Tamarindo by Memo. Now, this is a creamy white floral coconut, but the patchouli in this is so powerful. And I actually find Memo to be an incredibly difficult house for me. They're very powerful fragrances, so if there is a note that you don't care for in one of their scents, you're pretty much gonna have to scrub it off. And for me, I am not a patchouli fan, and so unfortunately this does not work for me. Now I know a lot of people that don't really get the patchouli. They think that that creamy coconut, those white florals, this is very vacation-y meets sophisticated. A lot of people enjoy that, but to me, it's again a sensitivity thing. I have a very strong nose, and that patchouli just socks me in the face, and I can't get along with it, so this one is going to be leaving my collection. Another house that I'm very sad to say that I have a lot of trouble with is Bohoboko. They very generously sent me all three of these, but I will break down my reasons why. So first we have Eternal Lily Amber, and to me this has a leathery note in it, and it's almost like a plasticky car leather. It doesn't feel like a sumptuous high quality leather, and the dry down is just bizarre. It almost has like a burnt plasticky thing about it, and I really just don't care for this. Sandalwood Neroli. Now this is actually a beautiful fragrance. I really enjoy this, but I feel like I have a ton of creamy sandalwood fragrances in my collection. It's a little bit redundant for me, and so I'm going to pass on this one. And for those of you who are curious about this one, the neroli is not prominent. It just gives a little bit of brightness, but all in all, this is a really well-balanced, creamy sandalwood. It's just too redundant for me. And lastly, I'm having a hard time letting this one go. This is Wet Cherry Liqueur, but I have so many cherry fragrances in my collection, and this is a cherry bomb, but this literally smells like maraschino cherry syrup. It is syrupy sweet, it's almost medicinal, it is thick and heavy, and in Southern California where I live, I feel like the weather does not get cold enough, but if you lived in a cold climate, this would be beautiful. It's just, to me, in the warmer weather, this gets very medicinal and syrupy, and it's just far too cloying and suffocating to me. Mark my words, I am going to regret this one. So this is Exotic by the Arte Bellissimo line of Orientica. This is a creamy coconut vanilla amber fragrance. This is beautiful, beautiful. But again, redundancy. I have Utopia Vanilla Cocoa from Kayali, which is similar. I also have both of the Alien Goddess from Mugler, both the original and the Intense. And the Intense is also very similar to this. It is a warm vanilla cocoa, white floral, amber fragrance. I think that one's a little bit stronger on the white florals. Out of all of them, this one is the most subdued on the white florals. Again, I'm going to reiterate that there's nothing wrong with this fragrance. This is a beautiful fragrance, and I know that I'm going to regret this, but I just have so many of the same profile, and I think my mom would really like this, so I feel like this is the one that I'm going to be letting go. Now, a lot of you are gonna think I'm crazy with this one. So this is EBK Ruby and Vanilla Intense, and this is a citrus, woody, patchouli vanilla. And again, it's that patchouli. And there's also a powderiness in this that irritates me. And people rave about this fragrance. And I agree, it is beautiful, but it is not me. That powderiness mixed with the patchouli, I just find it headache inducing and a little bit irritating, but some people don't really even pick up on that. They just get a powdery, citrusy vanilla. And I wish that was the case for me, but it's not. It's the powderiness with the citrus, it's a bizarre combination. And this is a very, very expensive fragrance, and I might be crazy to let it go, but if it's not serving me a purpose, I must part ways with her. I'm going to attempt to hold these without dropping these, but I'm gonna do this in one fell swoop. So this is from Perlinera. This is the entire collection of the Oriente collection, and the reason that I'm getting rid of these is because all of these are incredibly oud dominant. And I have ouds that I enjoy, but these are completely out of season. And I find all of these to be very animalic and almost like a barnyard dirty oud. And I am just not in the mood for that. There was a moment that I had that I was enjoying that. And I feel bad because they sent me 5 bottles. They sent me 5 bottles. But I wish that they would have sent me a sample pack first, because these 5 bottles are completely going to waste on me. It's too animalic, it is too heavy, it is too dirty. But if you are into like a skanky oud, these will probably be for you. This one I'm sad about. This is Euphoria by Calvin Klein. This is a beautiful fragrance in which I actually enjoy the patchouli. It's dark berries, it's patchouli, it is dark and sexy, it's feminine but powerful, and I just have a memory attached to it. So I got this fragrance from my ex's mom, and she wore it, and he found it so weird that I would wear the same fragrance as his mother, and I really enjoyed the scent. And that's when I was really young and very broke. And so any amount of generosity, I kept on to these items. And this is not the one she gave me, by the way. I repurchased it because I remember, oh, I really enjoyed that scent. This was early on in my fragrance journey, and now every time I smell it, I just think about that terrible relationship. So I just don't want to make myself sick on the regular, so she's gotta go. Just as I had a moment with ouds, I had a moment with very mature white florals. This is Gabrielle Chanel Essence. This is a beautiful fragrance. This is an absolutely beautiful white floral, warm, ambery, rich, sumptuous fragrance, but I feel too immature for this. This is 40s plus in my mind. Now, you can wear absolutely anything you want, but when I smell this, I think of a really kind auntie that's just warm, and I feel like I'm young and cold. You know, this doesn't fit my personality at all. This is such a beautiful fragrance, but it's just gonna sit on my shelf, and I have some more mature, warm florals that are a little bit more soapy that I enjoy, like J'adore. So this one, unfortunately, I'm not ready for her. I was never ready for her. So she has to go. Oh, I'm conflicted on this one. So this is Ghost in the Shell by Atelier d'Orange. Ooh la la. And when I first got this, I got this beautiful, clean baby, fresh out of the bath with like a little milky accord to it. And now it's doing something on my skin. And I think my chemistry is just messing with it because when I smell it on paper, I get the clean, milky baby smell. And then when I smell it on myself, I just get soap. I just get soap, and I love a clean, soapy fragrance, but there's something not sitting well with my chemistry about this one. I really want to keep it, but my collection is so big that I know, like, look, I've had it all this time, and there's no dent. There's no dent, because every time I wear it, I'm like, man, I've smelled this on other people, and it smells so good, and it doesn't smell good on me. So at the end of the day, I am the only body that I get to wear things on, so it's gotta go. This one is going to come as a surprise to a lot of you, but I am getting rid of Versace Crystal Noir, and I have the EDT version. So this is the less spicy version, but this is a creamy sandalwood with some spices. It's a little bit aromatic. This kind of smells like a very luxurious woman in a very nice upscale hotel, but the creaminess of the sandalwood in this one, as it sat, and when, again, on my chemistry, it turns into a breast milk type scent. It's like all of the aromatics disappear, and I'm left with this very, very sweet lactonic scent that's just reminiscent of breast milk, and no thank you. Very, very pretty fragrance that I'm going to get rid of here, and I probably will regret it, but my collection is so big that some just have to go. So this is Day for Women by Fragrance One, and that is Jeremy Fragrance's brand. Now this is a sweet caramel floral fragrance. This kind of reminds me of Viva La Juicy in the gold bottle, like the gold couture one. It smells very similar, and I think this smells beautiful. I think this smells very well blended. It's obviously of a very good quality, but the scent profile is just not what I'm looking for. I think it's very fun and playful, but I think it's a little bit juvenile for me, which is funny because I said I wasn't ready for Gabrielle, but apparently I've aged out of this one. Next is Pinrose Treehouse Royale. This is a green fragrance with a little bit of powderiness, and this really reminds me of my Perfume Aroma Ignutia. But that is more heavy on the fig, it's brighter, it's juicier, and the powderiness in this actually gives it a little bit of a dustiness. So with it being green, I don't want the dustiness in there, and I've had this for a while and there's absolutely no dent, so I'm not gonna give her any love, and she's gotta go. And last but not least, this is another one from Orientica. This is their exclusive oud line, and once again, I was sent an entire range and I didn't actually end up keeping any of them. So this is the sport version, which I find a little bit interesting because this is like a warm, spicy vanilla, and it is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I think that I'm going to give this one to my brother for like date night, because this one I believe is discontinued now, and so I have really no need to talk about it on my channel. I don't like to make it a habit of talking about things that are really hard to find, and so beautiful fragrance, I'm just gonna give it away. So that wraps it up for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this brutally honest declutter that I was doing today, and I hope that I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. Now, if you like any of these fragrances, continue to wear them because we all have different noses. And just because I don't like something doesn't mean that it doesn't smell amazing on you. It comes down to chemistry. Once again, guys, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe. If you like this kind of content, if you're an old friend, make sure that you have the bell icon notified so that way you know every time I upload, Saturdays 10 a.m. PST. And until next Saturday, take care of yourselves.